So I've noticed that there's a lot of discussion around what board is best for the tow boogie. And I've only been using it for about a week now, but I just wanted to chime in, and I think I've got a pretty good formula down. Anyways, I noticed that they recommend that you start with a big board, like a mid-length or a sup, or just something that's super easy to do, like a knee start. And the main reason that they say that is because this is an electric motor device, which means that there's not going to be as much power as like a jet ski or any kind of boat with a motor, basically any kind of wake boat, whatever, like anything that has gas powered motor. So obviously you need to be careful not to just snow plow the water with either your foil or your board and just plow water and cause your battery to drain extremely fast and potential burnout for the motor. So that's the whole idea with that. Um, I have only gone, I don't know, towing 3 weeks of my life. I just started last November, and I have been having a ton of success. This was the second board I tried. It's 24.5 liters. I'm 68 kilos. It's, I think like the rule of thumb I would kind of put here is if you take your weight in kilos and you divide it by 2.7, I think that's like the perfect amount of liters. So if I did that with my weight, I'd end up with 25. I don't think I'd want to go any lower than this. I did also try my 36-liter board, and that's fine, but this is just so much easier to deep water start. And even after I kick out of a wave, if I'm still on my board and I kind of glide into the water, I basically still have my feet planted on the traction, and I could basically be in the exact position for deep water start. I don't have to reset myself. I basically kick out of the wave, glide, sink the board immediately, have the boogie come pick me up, and I'm ready to go, and I don't waste any time. So this is honestly perfect. Actually, the second day I took my boogie out, there was actually a loose terminal inside the battery that caused the boogie to just fully stop working. And you can't really diagnose that when you're out in the water. So I had to paddle this board back to shore basically what I did is I took the tow rope, tied it around my mast, and just paddled back to shore. So I'd say definitely don't take your boogie any further than you're willing to paddle. And I think the beauty of having a board that's, again, take your kilos and divide by 2.7, you can still paddle it. You can still prone it. It's not going to be particularly fun to paddle super far, but it's definitely doable. One other thing to note is length. I know Dave West and a few other guys mentioned how important length is. I think he rides like a 410 or a 411 Amos board, the cruiser, and he's a bigger guy than me, but this is a 4.2, so I don't think I'd go any shorter than this either. Like I know there's some pretty intense chop tail boards these days that are like 310, whatever, but a little bit of length is helpful. So again, this is a 4.2, 24.5, shaped by Proper. Andy did an awesome job with this board, so shout out to him for sure. It's just like super stiff, super fun, and yeah, I mean ultimately the whole point of getting a boogie is to be able to ride your most fun high performance setup, right? Like if I was going to ride a mid-length or something really heavy, I might as well just be on a foil drive. So this is the beauty. You're on your actual tow setup. You can still handle emergencies if you need to paddle. And yeah, so overall, this is an awesome setup. Obviously the foil matters too. I don't know how low I can go on a foil yet. I've been riding the AFS Silk 1050 with a shorter mount spot on my fuse and a Silk 132 stabilizer on an 80 centimeter mast. So super fun to play with. I think next I'll probably size down to the 850, but the 1050 is awesome. It's so much fun. Just a great medium aspect surf wing. So the one last thing to note, with this type of board, it is important to have your technique right. So you're not going to be doing like a wake start where you basically have the whole board just plowing water. Again, I keep using that term plowing because that's literally what you're doing. You're just wasting all your energy or your boogie's energy, just pushing water. So the goal is to have a very like slight, so if you think about this as like the surface of the water, you want the nose of your board kind of slowly working its way up to the surface like this. You do not want to be doing this. This is going to be really bad for your boogie. So just crouch your knees as much as you possibly can. Put a tiny bit of throttle down on the remote. Don't go crazy right away. And let that help you slowly get the board closer to the surface. And then really like once the nose of my board just barely starts to poke out of the surface, then that's usually when I pull the throttle a little bit harder, stayed in the crouch position, and then stand up. And you don't need to get on foil right away. That's not the goal. Just try to get your board planing on the surface of the water. So anyways, that works for me. If you guys have any tips, suggestions, let me know. I do have a mid-length coming in about a week. I'll try that board too, but I'm getting incredible range with this 24.5 liter board. I think yesterday I was able to, I think I had like 32 kilometers of distance and like 42 waves. And the past 3 days I've had about 100 waves and covered, man, I don't even know, probably at least 75 kilometers of distance on this exact setup. So yeah, I'm stoked. This is honestly like my favorite toy I've ever bought. I had a foil drive before, and it's great and super, versatile, and you can use it for learning as a true beginner or be a little bit more advanced or practice pumping in flat water. Like there's a lot of cool stuff you could do, but and this isn't going to be as easy to just toss in the water at any moment wherever you are, like a foil drive. But if you have a good launch point and you're in a more remote area where you're not going to piss off a crowded, break of surfers, I can't imagine wanting anything else. Like I'll take this over a jet ski any day. So yeah, anyways, that's kind of what I've noticed so far. And yeah, again, that rule of thumb is take your weight in kilograms and divide it by 2.7. And that's the magic number I found.